Hello, everyone. Thank you for visiting Unveiling Dark Secrets. I'm Wendy, and I'm going to share a rather sensitive topic in today's episode. I've developed a strong interest in the subject of human trafficking, believing it deserves more attention. Often, these events occur right in front of us without our knowledge. There are countless untold stories from survivors of human trafficking, and today, I aim to shed light on one such story. It's about a young woman who was trafficked and lived to tell her tale. To protect her identity and safety, I'll narrate the story in the first person without revealing names or exact locations. However, I will mention the possible state where the alleged events occurred. I also want to issue trigger warnings as the subject matter involves significant abuse in various forms. If this is something you find distressing, I advise against listening to the story. To ensure sensitive content is handled with care, certain words will be coded or disguised. I hope you'll show your support by liking, subscribing, and possibly sharing the story. You never know whose life it may impact. I've only ever shared this experience with my two best friends in my entire life. So, making this post is very difficult for me. As the years have passed, I increasingly wonder if I may have been a victim of human trafficking, but I don't want to claim that if it's not accurate. I am 26 now, and when I was 11 years old, my parents sent me to live with strangers for 3 years. They told me it was to help straighten me out due to my behavior issues. At the time, my autism and ADHD were undiagnosed, and my outbursts and tantrums were symptoms of these conditions. They blindfolded me for the journey and didn't allow me to bring any belongings. Looking back, I suspect it was to prevent me from knowing where I was being taken. Although I don't recall the entire car ride, it likely lasted between 6 to 8 hours. Upon arrival, I removed the blindfold to find myself in a 2-house apartment. The upstairs and downstairs were not connected and had separate doors. A man who seemed friendly welcomed me inside. After a brief goodbye to my parents, he escorted me into the downstairs apartment. The living conditions were unusual. There was minimal furniture, boarded up windows, and overall filthiness. Cockroaches, mold, and mouse droppings were common issues. I shared the space with 13 other young girls ranging from 8 to 14 years old. We slept on towels spread across the living room floor and had no personal belongings. 6 adults took turns monitoring us, and there were always at least 2 adults present. If any of us tried to sit on the chairs, we would be severely punished. We were instructed to remain on the floor on our towels unless given specific directions. Our routine was strict. We would wake up at 6 a.m., have a simple breakfast at 6:30, which was usually a piece of toast and fruit, and then we sit in silence until our daily lessons began around 8:30. Contrary to academic subjects, these daily lessons focused on our bodies and how we could use them as a means to gain value. These lessons involved physical abuse while we were naked, and we were taught to express gratitude afterward. Following the lessons, we were coerced into love sessions, which involved sexual acts with each other, often recorded. Non-compliance resulted in severe punishment. Our days were regulated and we were isolated from the outside world. We were not allowed to engage in regular activities, and our interactions were restricted to specific, often explicit conversations. Bathroom breaks were limited, and any accidents were met with punishment. Bathing was infrequent and always supervised. We were often inadequately clothed and suffered from untreated health issues due to the unhygienic living conditions. Some girls fell seriously ill and were swiftly removed from the premises without explanation. Due to my behavioral challenges, I faced frequent beatings, sometimes even from the other girls as instructed. One particular incident involved intense physical and sexual abuse, which was recorded. The days blurred together, devoid of any joy or sense of normalcy. After 3 years, I was informed that my parents were coming to take me home. Despite the quiet car ride back, they explicitly instructed me never to discuss my time at the behavioral corrections school, threatening to send me back if I did. You're probably wondering where this occurred and why haven't I gone to the police. At the time, I was living in New Mexico with my parents. However, I don't know the exact location where I was taken. When I was driven back home, I was blindfolded again, and though I didn't ask why, I sometimes wonder what my parents would have said if I did. It's possible that I was taken far from New Mexico, but I may never know for sure. People often question why I haven't contacted the police about my parents. The truth is, I'm afraid of them and even more terrified of the men and women who were involved in trafficking us. I don't have any social media accounts with my real face or name because I fear they might find me. These are dangerous people, and I don't want them to know that I'm still alive. I live in constant fear that they might come for me again. I've experienced night terrors almost every night about being found. I keep a low profile and try not to draw too much attention to myself. I'm terribly afraid. I understand that the longer I wait, the harder it will be for anyone to be held accountable. But what can I do? This all happened years ago, and I have no evidence. The beatings never left permanent scars on my body, and I don't even know where I was taken. How could I begin to explain this to the police? It feels almost impossible. This story is from a survivor, a story that seems unimaginable. However, it is her story. I pray that she continues to get the support and help that she needs. There are many stories just like this one. Women, men, and children that have gone through this type of treatment and may be in the same kind of situation. There are so many facets and ways that human trafficking happens. We all need to stand together and learn from these stories of the survivors and even those who did not survive. Become united and be the warriors to end human trafficking. If you see something, say something. You may be the only hope someone has to be saved. If you know someone who might be trafficked, please call the Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or go to the website humantraffickinghotline.org. Until we meet again, stay vigilant, stay safe, and be blessed.